35 lives, swallowed by the sea in seconds, because behind America's deadliest bridge disaster lay a buried lie. For 11 years, authorities knew the shields protecting the Sunshine Skyway Bridge had rotted to nothing. New ships were slamming into its naked bones, knew it was a catastrophe waiting to happen. They did nothing. A $0 fix ignored, a truth concealed. Until May 9th, 1980, when a freighter pilot, blinded by a storm no one predicted, made a choice that would shatter the sky. A bus full of students, cars with families, a 150-foot plunge into darkness. The Coast Guard blamed the captain, blamed the weather, but the real killer? The lie they buried, long before the first body hit the water. This is why that lie had to die with them. But before we begin, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel to support our community. During the initial decades of the 1900s, St. Petersburg, Florida, existed as a community situated upon a coastal spit. Locals desiring to reach areas over the bay needed to either tolerate extended motoring or depend on ferry boats for their trip. A crossing was initially suggested in 1926, and although the concept found favor, tangible steps were postponed first because of the Great Depression and later by the outbreak of World War II. It was not before 1954 that a structure traversing Tampa Bay's southern portion materialized. Constructed by Parsons, Brinkerhoff, Hogan, and McDonald, and titled via a contest for Floridians, this crossing marked a notable feat. Despite being rather slender, it then constituted the planet's lengthiest bridge, featuring a principal section extending 6.7 kilometers or 4.14 miles. It employed a steel cantilever configuration, supporting a two-lane roadbed atop concrete pillars fixed upon the bay floor. A somewhat sharp incline at both termini enabled the crossing to rise sufficiently above the water, avoiding blockage of the active shipping channel below. The bridge proved enormously favored, leading to a duplicate sections addition in 1971 to alleviate crowding. This supplementary span was fundamentally a replica, furnishing another carriageway so vehicles traveling opposite ways possessed dedicated paths. While the bridge's height permitted vessel passage underneath, its concrete foundations did pose risks to watercraft. From 1969 to 1980, 7 boats struck these supports, though nearly always the implicated ships were fairly small, harm was slight, and the bridge's operation continued unimpaired. This remained true until May 9, 1980. At 6:30 a.m. that day, seasoned harbor pilot John Lerrow was conveyed to the MV Summit Venture, a bulk freighter measuring 186 meters or 609 feet long. Lerrow's duty involved safely navigating the craft from port. It was common procedure for big vessels such as the Summit Venture to employ regional, expert, and skilled pilots for port maneuvers. After exiting the harbor, Lerrow would depart the vessel, and the Summit Venture's captain would resume command. That morning's conditions were poor, featuring intermittent rain and fog. Lerrow had passed the dawn tracking the weather, contacting at least one other vessel close to the Sunshine Skyway for condition reports. Though far from ideal, a major weather alert had not been broadcast to sailors, and sightlines were adequate. Considering this, Lerrow began directing the Summit Venture from the harbor. As the freighter approached the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, a sudden storm struck. Powerful gusts, precipitation, and mist arrived abruptly, the downpour so intense it nullified the vessel's radar. Lerrow commanded lookouts to the bow, where they needed to observe channel buoys. He advanced carefully, instructing crew to prepare for swift anchoring if needed. By now, the Summit Venture had strayed off path. Instead of aiming for the bridge's central opening, it was drifting toward a concrete pier. Lerrow, however, remained ignorant of this until the structure emerged from the fog ahead, merely one ship's length distant. Lerrow commanded anchor release and tried evasive maneuvers, but time had run out. At 7:33 a.m., the carrier hit a support pier at the Sunshine Skyway Bridge's heart. Almost instantly, a 395-meter, or 1,297-foot, section of the southbound carriageway plunged directly into the bay below, carrying several automobiles with it. Lerrow instantly issued an emergency call to the Coast Guard. Dispatch every emergency asset to the Skyway Bridge. A ship just collided with the Skyway Bridge. The Skyway Bridge has collapsed. Send all rescue assets to the Skyway Bridge. The Skyway Bridge is down. This is Mayday. Critical emergency. Halt vehicles on the Skyway Bridge. Halting vehicles was, however, not achievable immediately. Above, one motorist was traveling slowly southbound when he observed no cars visible ahead on the bridge. He later recounted his ordeal to the National Transportation Safety Board. I observed the red aircraft caution lights atop the bridge framework west of the roadway. Abruptly, those red lamps descended from their place to somewhere unseen beneath the road ahead. I commenced braking, and right after the lights fell, I witnessed the overhead steel structure ahead collapsing. It appeared to sway and tumble as it fell. The man halted his car and started reversing backward. I likely reversed half to two-thirds down the upward slope I'd just traversed. I spotted headlights from southbound cars nearing me, so I stopped, lowered my left window, and began waving my hands outside, striking my car's side, and shouting at passing traffic to halt. After stopping, I recall about 3 autos and then a bus passing southbound. Most such vehicles, the bus among them, failed to brake in time upon encountering the destroyed bridge segment. They plummeted into the bay underneath. The operator of the final car reaching the brake managed to stop with little margin. He escaped his automobile, abandoning it perched unstably at the sheer brink. Altogether 6 autos, 1 pickup, and a Greyhound bus either fell during the initial failure or couldn't stop before driving off the shattered road. The fall was substantial, roughly 46 meters or 150 feet. The National Transportation Safety Board later documented that harm to autos plunging from the bridge into water matched damage expected from striking solid ground. Only one individual entering the water lived. Wesley McIntyre, aged 56, saw his car fall during the bridge's first collapse. He later recounted how the quick descent made him instinctively brake, which naturally proved futile. His pickup struck the summit venture before plunging into the bay, whereupon Mr. McIntyre managed to fight his way out and surface. He was hauled from the water by the summit venture's crew. Mr. McIntyre was the sole survivor rescued this way. The other 35 people who fell from the bridge within their vehicles perished in the water. 25 fatalities were aboard the bus, a Greyhound transporting numerous students from Tuskegee University, plus others. Following the calamity, an inquiry commenced. A Coast Guard probe faulted pilot John Lerrow's choice to proceed despite poor conditions, stating this contributed to the collision. Yet it also recognized numerous additional factors were involved. These encompassed the squall's unforeseen nature and positive weather reports from nearby vessels then. It was further noted the concrete piers lacked collision buffers. Wooden bumpers had been fitted around support bases during bridge construction, but these rapidly decayed and were never renewed. Ultimately, Mr. Lerrow was absolved of negligence, with acknowledgement he took reasonable actions given available data and choices. Mr. Lerrow resumed work as a harbor pilot but was soon diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and could not continue. He held various roles later, including teaching nautical science cadets at SUNY Maritime College. There, he shared his experience as a cautionary tale, frequently advising, "If you misjudge, you've got hell to pay." 35 lives, a bridge swallowed by the sea, a pilot haunted by hell to pay. Officials called it unforeseen, blamed the storm, blamed the captain. But the rot had set in years before, when they saw the fenders disintegrate, recorded 7 collisions, and chose to do nothing. Was it a cover-up or criminal neglect? Why replace wood with concrete only after blood stained the bay? And why did a shrimp boat prove the $0 fix could have saved them all? Today, new concrete shields the Sunshine Skyway. But beneath the waves, the ghosts of 35 whisper a warning. The next disaster won't be a storm, or a ship, or a lie. It'll be the echo of choices we refused to make.